Hello y'all, and welcome back to another Warframe video. This is Reap. Today we're going to be going right down the line of super bosses, and next on the list is the Apex, the H-09 Apex Fervon tank you can find in Hulvania. So I would wager that the Apex tank is easily the hardest super boss we have. Right now, at least. We only have three: the Fragmented One, the Apex Tank, and Giannis Captain Vor. I would argue that the Apex Tank is easily the hardest for numerous reasons that we'll get into. But, so the first thing you want to do before even attempting the Apex Tank is to make sure you have Steel Path unlocked, just like with the Fragmented One. You cannot do this fight unless you have Steel Path unlocked and you actually do the Assassinate node.
We're lucky that couch is strong, aren't we?
Stop being freaky, Aoi. Okay. As I was saying, you have to have the node unlocked in Steel Path in order to do this. And it'll be Victory Plaza in the H-09, or the fucking PC you have. This will be where you go to fight the Apex tank. But we also need to make sure we have builds to combat this fucking thing, because this is, like I said, this is easily the hardest super boss in the game. But before we get into that, let's make sure we know what we're getting out of it. So, doing the Apex tank will award you with several things to denote that you did it. First, it will award you with a Sumdali, that it will give you that no matter what, as long as you beat it. You'll get a fucking turret that attaches to your landing craft. It doesn't actually do anything, it's just decorative. But then there's also, for the real masochists out there, if you do the Apex tank solo, just like with the Fragmented One, if you do the Apex tank solo with specific Warframes, you will get accolade glyphs. And those 6 Warframes happen to be the 6 members of the Hex, the original Hex that we got in 1999. So that would include Nyx, Mag, Excalibur, H-09, and Volt. And Trinity. Don't forget Trinity. But it's just all 6 Warframes of the original Hex, and you'll get an accolade glyph of each Hex member you do it with. So now that we know what we're getting into, let's actually go fight the thing. And then once we're back, we'll give some builds to show what we are doing to combat the Apex tank. Alright, now I'm going to be showing you guys what we're doing to actually fight the Apex tank. So, first of all, make sure you have Steel Path mode turned on, and then go to your Palm 2 PC and select Victory Plaza H-09 tank on your navigation, and then you'll load in like normal. So what we're doing for the Apex tank specifically, it's not as complicated. Actually, it's not as tedious. It's a little more, I don't want to say it's complicated, because it's pretty easy, but it's not as tedious as like gathering 60 eyes for the Fragmented One. We just have to find 2 consoles to hack. So as you can see, what I'm doing right now is charging my Latum Incarnate, because We want that incarnate activated when we go into the fight. It's going to be very important because it's our main damage dealer for phase 1. So once you have an enemy drop an emergency transponder, look around for an unmarked green PC that looks like this, and then you'll know you're hacking the right thing when it's all purple and it says you should not be here. You have to hack 2 of these to get the Apex tank to spawn. And you have to do it before you before you destroy the wall leading to the next portion. And you'll know you've hacked the right PC when you get dialogue from Arthur about making this harder. And then on the left screen below the minimap, you'll see a red Scaldra icon, and then there's a blank diamond icon next to it. So that means we have hacked 1 out of 2 PCs to get the Apex tank to spawn. And you have to do the worm puzzle manually on the green unmarked PCs. You cannot cipher it. So just a word of warning. But once you have hacked the green unmarked PC, I'm going to keep saying that because do not hack a blue PC. And ideally, when you hack those green PCs, you should go in your drifter and then go into void mode when you do find the PC, because it'll take a while to hack and you will be vulnerable if you do not go into void mode. But once you do hack that green PC, then you can continue as normal to get a Thermine RPG to destroy the barricade. So you can see here I'm going into my drifter again, and I'm going to go look for the second green unmarked PC, because we have to hack 2 of them before we go into the actual fight. And then here I found it, and then same purple theme and same you should not be here stuff. You'll know you have it right if you see this. And then once you complete the hack, you'll see there are now 2 red Scaldra icons below the minimap on the left side of the screen, and Arthur will say something along the lines of full alert active, you've made this harder, etc., etc. He'll say something along those lines to let you know you have deliberately called in the Apex tank. Now you just continue as normal, grabbing Thermine RPGs from Stormfall units. And what is about to come, phase 1 of the Apex tank, is easily, I would say, the hardest part of this fight, because you are going to get nullified like crazy from all the Fervon that will be everywhere. There's going to be nullifying Fervon on the ground everywhere, and if you touch it, which you probably will, because there's not much of a way you can avoid it, you're going to get nullified. So be sure to rely heavily upon Vazarin and Rolling Guard. And also spamming abilities when you can. So once you go into the plaza, you'll get your RPG taken away from you. I would go Protective Sling right away, then bullet jump into the air and start shooting your Latum at the weak points. You don't want to stay near this thing for too long. You want to be constantly on the move, making sure your shields are topped off. And then once you do make the tank vulnerable, all this Fervon is going to start coming out of nowhere, so you have to watch out for it. Make sure, try to shoot the Stormfall units out of the air if you can. It's not the end of the world if you don't. Just make sure you kill them. And then before you pick up the Thermion RPG, make sure to shoot the tank and then wait until it has 4 stacks of viral on it, and so you can deal as much damage as possible with the Thermion RPG. And then as you see as you saw before, just a little bit ago, you can cancel the pickup animation if you roll and press the pickup button for the Thermion RPG, because you are vulnerable during the pickup animation, you can't really afford to be vulnerable in this fight. So you have to, I would recommend rolling and picking up the Thermion RPG so you don't fucking die while you're trying to pick up a weapon. So right there, you'll probably have to charge your Latum again, because it's just likely not going to be enough. You'll have to charge it again. That's why we have Incarnate Efficiency, because there's just way too much going on in this fight that we cannot be aiming for heads for 5 minutes at a time. So now that we have the tank weakened again, we Thermion RPG it. Protective Sling once again, because we do not want to take chances during this phase of the fight. And then this is pretty much it here. This is easily the hardest part of the fight right here, at least in my opinion. So once you get this quick time event, you're going to finish phase 1. You won't have to deal with any more Fervon all over the ground nullifying you, but you'll have a few new threats to deal with. So this is where it becomes Tech Rot, and you have all the Tech Rot stuff to deal with now. So this is where we put away our Latum and we start pulling out the Rauta and our Sampites. So what we want to do is glide around, keep your distance from the tank, because if you stay close to it, it's going to kill you. But shoot it over and over and over again with the Rauta, and then check to make sure you have 12x combo before you go down and slam it like I did there. And make sure when you do slam, it's a heavy attack slam, because we want the Saint-Petit's passive where it sends out those waves in a frontal pattern. Like, it'll send out those seismic waves in front of you if you heavy attack slam. So make sure you're heavy attacking. And then ideally you want to bullet jump in the air to get some distance in the air and then slam, because DE has changed slam relatively recently to where it's not as effective if you're just jumping. You should bullet jump and get some height to do more damage, and then it will start healing when its first health bar is pretty much done. It shouldn't be able to heal at all, really. You should just be able to take care of all the Tech Rot with your Sympathies, and then we just basically rinse and repeat here. We're shooting it with the Rauta and slamming it with our Sympathies. There is one specific attack you need to watch out for that the tank will do. I will point it out when it happens, but relatively you're not in as much danger here as you were in the first phase. Now, when it does this, when the tank leans forward like that, and like it will send out these spires that you just saw me destroy right there with the Sympathies. Those spires are extremely deadly, and you want to get rid of them as fast as possible. They will send out homing rockets, and they will kill you. You need to get rid of those spires immediately, because if you don't, that's pretty much a death sentence. That's like the biggest threat of this phase of the fight. The tank isn't really going... As long as you keep your distance from the tank, you'll be fine. It's like, it doesn't have too many threatening attacks, but if you see it lean forward like that and send out waves of energy on the ground and spawn those spires, make sure you, like here it's doing it again, you need to ideally use protective sling to protect yourself from the rockets, and then go in and ground slam them immediately with Sampetes to get rid of them, because those are easily the deadliest part of the second phase. But once they're gone, you can just go back to doing what you usually do, is just shooting it with the Rauta until you have 12x combo on the Sampetes. That rocket swarm it does is also pretty deadly. Make sure you have ample protection. And then here it's doing it again. It's like you do not want these things to linger on the battlefield. Like, you want to get rid of them as soon as possible. And then it's ideal to keep spamming abilities as you can. Like, you're not going to get nullified, you'll be fine. But just spam abilities for that shield tanking, and then you will whittle down its health. It's unfortunate that this is the way we have to do it, because it feels kind of cheesy, but it kind of feels good to have your weapon just fuck it like that. And then, as you can see right here, I have it on a sliver of health. And this is why you need 12x combo. Like, even when it's on a sliver of health, it still won't die. You need 12x combo to ground slam. And there we go. The tank is dead. I already have the Accolade Glyph, but if you once you kill it like that, it will drop an Accolade Glyph and the Symdali and an Arcane and one Steel Essence. And then all that's left to do from there is head to Extraction. And that's about it. That's the Apex tank. Easily Warframe's hardest super boss, yet the one that keeps you on your toes the most. Alright, now that we're back from fighting the Apex tank, let's show how we put this all together. So, for the Warframe builds, they're going to be largely the same. We're going to be building for shield tanking and overall survivability. We are going to have to rely on Rolling Guard especially, and the Fazarin for Protective Sling, because there's going to be a bunch of shit nullifying you in this fight, particularly in the first phase. So let's go look at the Warframe builds. We'll start with Nyx, since I just used her. So it's going to look quite the same for across each Warframe. So we have Brief Respite here, because we're going to, if you want to shield tank, you should ideally be spamming abilities whenever you can. You're going to get nullified a lot in the first phase because of all the Fervon everywhere. But in the second phase, you should be spamming some abilities to take advantage of this aura. Prime Surefooted is there specifically because if you get knocked over during this fight, you're dead. There's just no going up around that. Prime Flow is just for energy max, so we can spam abilities. Fast Deflection is for shield recharge, and shield recharge, and so they recharge faster, is what I'm. Augur Reach is just for ability range for Nyx specifically, because we want to have enemies under our chaos, particularly during the second phase. Energy Nexus for the constant energy regen. Continuity for the ability duration, because chaos is nice to have on a long timer. Rolling Guard for the invulnerability. This is an essential. This is needed. You need this mod if you're going to survive this fight. Vigilante Vigor for even more shield recharge. Catalyzing shields to reduce our shield pool so we can take advantage of shield gating along with shield tanking. Arcane Nullifier is here because the Apex tank will deal magnetic procs, so you need something to be immune to those magnetic procs, so you're not constantly losing energy. Arcane Aegis is here for shield tanking purposes only. Now, let's go on to H-09. Also, Archon shards do not matter. You do not need specific Archon shards for this at all. Just don't worry about it. You don't need it. Now, it's pretty much the same. Brief Respite and Prime Sure-Footed. We have adaptation here on H-09 because it was kind of hard to build them, to be honest, for this. Because H-09 is probably the Warframe I had the most difficulty with on doing this fight. But we have it there just in case. You're still gonna get killed pretty easily if you don't pay attention. But we have this here for contingency's sake. Rolling Guard, once again, essential. Catalyzing shields for the less shields so we can take advantage of shield gaining and shield tanking. Vigilante Vigor and Fast Deflection for shield recharge. Energy Nexus for the constant energy regen so you can spam abilities. And Streamline is just the ability efficiency so you can spam them more easily. Arcane Nullifier for the immunity to magnetic procs, and Arcane Aegis for the shield tanking. So, in case you haven't noticed the trend here, most of these builds are going to be pretty much the same. So now we're going on to Excalibur. Brief Respite here. I'm not sure why primed. Okay, wait, no, it's there. Never mind. So we have Brief Respite, again, shield tanking. Prime Sure-Footed, Prime Continuity for the duration, particularly on his Radial Blind. Energy Nexus for the energy regen, Rolling Guard for being invulnerable. Fleeing Expertise is just for efficiency. Vigilante Vigor and Fast Deflection for shield recharge, and Catalyzing Shields for shield tanking, shield gating. Same arcanes, same reason. Next, I believe, is Mag. Now, Mag we can afford to be a little more lenient on because her Crush gives you shields. So, if you spam Crush, you'll be pretty well off on shields. So we did Energy Siphon here instead. And then Prime Sure-Footed to not be knocked down. Fleeting Expertise for the efficiency so you can keep spamming Crush. And Prime Redirection here for a very big shield pool. Streamline for more efficiency. Prime Continuity for more duration. On Roar, you want Roar active when you can have it active. Fast Deflection for shield recharge. Unranked Adaptation, because, I mean, there's not much else to put here. So, Energy Nexus for the regen, and Rolling Guard for survivability. Same arcanes. Oops. Next is Trinity, I believe. Let me just find her. There she is. We can also build Trinity a little bit differently because Blessing also gives you shields when you cast it, so you can just spam it. So we also got Energy Siphon here. Prime Sure-Footed, again, no knockdowns, prime redirection for more shields, continuity for duration on blessing, prime continuity actually, sorry. Precision intensify just to make blessing better. Unranked adaptation, energy nexus for the energy regen, rolling guard for survivability, fleeting expertise, and streamline for efficiency. And these are rank 4. I did not mention that earlier. Same arcanes, same reason. And then we got Volt. And then for Volt, we'll just revert to the other build we were using for the other Warframes. And that's just Brief Respite, Prime Sure-Footed, Catalyzing Shields, Fast Deflection, Vigilante Vigor, Augur. So this is slightly different, but it'll still work. Fleeting Expertise for the efficiency, so you can spam abilities. Got Umbral Intensify here, mostly for, actually we don't have Shock Trooper, so I don't know. We got it for speed, I'm guessing. And then Rolling Guard for obvious reasons, and then same arcanes. So those are the 6 Warframe builds. They're pretty similar to each other. We got, just make sure I got all them: H-09, Nyx, Trinity, Mag, Volt, and Excalibur. Yep. So they're all pretty similar to each other. And once again, don't worry about Helminth or Archon shards. You can do that. You can do this just fine without it. So our weapon for the first phase of the fight is going to be the Latum. We are going to use this thing specifically to break the weak points on the tank so we can make it vulnerable. And then we want to shoot it to build at least 4 stacks of viral on it, because we want those 4 stacks of viral to deal more damage with the Thermian rocket launchers, because if you don't have those 4 stacks of viral, then the RPGs will do a lot less damage. So the evolutions we want to have on here are Rapid Wrath for the fire rate, Lethal Rearmament for reload speed on headshots, Incarnate Efficiency just so you build Incarnate more quickly, and Overwhelming Attrition for the crits and damage. Actually, I'm lying. This is not on a hit that's neither critical nor applies status. It's 400% damage, so it's just damage, raw damage. So the build we have on this thing is Galvanized Diffusion for the multi-shot, because we need as much multi-shot as we can get. Hornet Strike for more damage. Prime Target Cracker for crit damage. Frostbite is on here along with... Am I tripping? Okay, no. Frostbite and Pathogen rounds paired together will get viral. We got Creeping Bullseye for the crit chance. Prime Heated Charge for some extra heat. Lethal Torrent for the fire rate and multi-shot, and Steady Hands just for the less recoil. And then we got Deadhead for the arcane. And then this is going to be your weapon for the first phase of the fight, which is arguably the most difficult. And then for the second phase of the fight, we will no longer be using the Latum. So our main weapon for the second phase is going to be the Sampates. We are going to use this thing to bullet jump up into the air and ground slam, heavy attack, ground slam near the tank, in order for the Sampates' unique trait where its shockwaves will go forth in a pattern in front of you, and they will pop the tank's quote-unquote zits to deal more damage. Its weak spots, per se. So the build we have is pretty simple. It's just heavy attacking. That's pretty much it. Got Toxin, crit damage, quickening for the attack speed, galvanized reflex for the attack efficiency, prime pressure point for the melee damage, seismic wave for the slam attack damage, sacrificial steel for the crit chance, and focus energy for the heavy attack efficiency. And then the melee exposure is there as well for the extra corrosive damage, because we're also going to be using this thing just to kill fodder enemies as well. But you're mainly using this thing to pop the weak points on the tank to make it take damage, because it will take fuck all damage from your weapons in phase 2. You have to hit those weak points, and the Sampatese is easily the best way you can do it. And in order to get the Sampatese up to 12x combo, we're not going to be attacking enemies with it, because that's just going to take way too long. So we're going to rely on the Rauta specifically for its passive ability that every shot you land on an enemy will build your combo count on your melee weapon. And we're just using this thing to build combo on the Sampatese, not for any damage. So I built this thing specifically for fire rate and reload speed, just so we can pump out shots as quickly as possible. So Hell's Chamber for the multi-shot, Seeking Fury for the reload speed, for momentum for fire rate for shotgun barrage, ammo stock just for more mag capacity, tactical pump for reload speed, and chilling reload for reload speed. And then primary dexterity is just for, actually this isn't even really necessary, it's just for actually kind of it is, because it's for your melee weapon, it's combo duration. But we just built this thing specifically for reload speed and fire rate, just so we can keep shooting it over and over and over again at the tank to build our combo on the Sampatese. And then you do want the Vazarin Focus School specifically to take advantage of Protective Sling for that 5 seconds of immunity. It will save your life, trust me. And now we have the companion, Worm Prime. We have Guardian for boosting our shields when they run out, Negate for preventing status effects, Shield Charger for increasing our shields, Tenacious Bond for final crit damage multiplier, Primed Regen so for increased recovery time, or decreased recovery time, sorry, Vacuum just to suck in resources, Duplex Bond is for energy orbs and clones of Worm. Manifold Bond is companion ability cooldowns reduced. Calculated redirection is for shield capacity, so it doesn't die as easily. And Reinforced Bond is for even more fire rate on the Rauta. And then the Verglis Prime we have mainly on here to help us kill fodder enemies. It's just a standard rifle build, rifle status build. That's pretty much it. This is here specifically to help us kill fodder enemies. And those are the builds for Apex Tank. This is easily the hardest super boss we have. You have to be on your feet for it. So now that we've taken a look on the builds, let's look at the rewards. So you will be awarded some dolly you can put on your landing craft, like I mentioned earlier, and it is a tank turret. This is easily probably my favorite sim dolly. I just like the True Master one. And then if you do the fight alone, by yourself, no help, solo mode, you will also get Acolyte glyphs for each of the Hex members. So here we got Amir, Volt, Aoi, Meg, Arthur Excalibur, Eleanor Nyx, and Letty Trinity, and Quincy H-09. And those are all the accolade glyphs, and then if you get all 6 accolade glyphs, you will get a special Honoria, or title, that it is... where is it? It's pretty lame. It's the mechanic. I don't know why they went with that. It's pretty lame, considering this is easily the hardest super boss in Warframe right now, and they give you that lame-ass name. But that's about it. I wish you luck with the Apex tank. It's you're gonna have a hell of a time, but those glyphs are easily very worth it. I don't think I will ever take this glyph off. Like, they're just so well done, and if you're an endgame player like me, we'll do anything for something like that. So, thank you for watching. Goodbye.